We are going to set up our paper for the cityscape. First thing we need to do is put in our horizon line. So we need to measure the height is 12 inches, half of 12 is 6. So we're going to measure down from the top, start at 0 at the top, measure down 6 inches, make a mark. On the left, measure down from the top, start at 0, measure down 6 inches, make a mark in the middle. And on the right side, we're going to draw our horizon line through those 3 marks. And then we're going to put in our vanishing points, 2-point perspective, so we want one on the far right, one on the far left. We are going to be putting in a sidewalk, and then you're going to be adding your buildings from this point here. From the sidewalk, they're going to go up. We first are going to put in the sidewalk here. So what we're going to do is find the center of this. Find the center of the horizon line. Our paper is 18 inches wide, half of 18 is 9. So we're going to make our mark at 9. It's not going to be a vanishing point, it's just going to help us get started with the sidewalk, okay? Because the corner of our sidewalk is going to be right in the middle. Okay, so we want to line up our ruler along this mark here, and we want to start at 0 at the bottom. So our ruler is going to be lined up. The 0 is going to be lined up at the bottom edge of our paper. We're starting with 0 down at the bottom, and we're going to measure up, and we're going to make 3 marks. We're going to make one at half an inch, one at 1 inch, and one at 2 inches. This is along this 9-inch point that we made, okay? So half an inch, 1 inch, and 2 inches. Now from these 3 points, we're going to draw orthogonals to both of the vanishing points, to the left and to the right. We have 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 3 points, orthogonals going to both vanishing points from each point. What we're going to do next is we're going to draw we're going to divide our sidewalk, so we have these pavements here. We're going to draw vertical lines. But before we do that, we want to figure out where we're going to draw those vertical lines. Our pavements are going to get smaller and smaller as we go back into space. So we want to draw some points here along the bottom orthogonal line, or the first one. We're going to make a mark at, our first one is going to be at 3 inches. Let me zoom in. Our first one's going to be at 3 inches. I'm making a mark at 3 inches. Our next one's going to be at 5, 6.5, 7.5, 8 1/4, 8 3/4, and 9 1/4. From these points now we're going to draw vertical lines going straight up. Okay, so we want to line up the edge of the ruler with the edge of our paper down here, and we're going straight up. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to make those marks and draw those vertical lines. We have to start at 0 in the center, so I have to turn my paper around and line up my ruler with that first, or that top orthogonal line, and I'm making my marks. First one's at 3, then 5, then 6.5, 7.5, 8 1/4, 8 3/4, 9 1/4. Turn my paper back around, and I'm going to draw those vertical lines going straight up from those points. Make sure it's a straight vertical line. You either want to line up the edge of the ruler with the edge of the paper or the 0 line with the edge of the paper. On a perfect vertical line. Okay, so now we have these vertical lines on both sides. What we're going to do now is we're going to draw orthogonal lines going to the opposite vanishing point so we can get these divisions in our sidewalk. So from the left, the top of my vertical lines, from the top of my vertical lines on the right, we're going to the opposite side, so we're going to go to the left vanishing point. But we're not going to draw our line all the way through, we're just going to stop at the last orthogonal there. Okay, these are going to the opposite side, the opposite vanishing point. Okay. Now we're going to draw the other ones on the left. So from the left, we're going to the opposite side, to the right vanishing point. Okay, so this is our sidewalk. We can erase our orthogonal line now. We're going to put one building in there, or a couple of buildings in, to get you started. Okay, so we always start with a vertical line when we put in our cube and 2-point perspective. In this case, it's going to be our building. So my first building I'm going to put just right in the center. I'm going to draw a vertical line going straight up. And this cityscape is going to be at eye level, so we're only going to see the sides of our buildings. We're not going to see the tops or underneath our buildings. We're just going to see the sides. We don't need to draw the orthogonals from the bottom because we already have them. Okay, they're already there from the sidewalk. Then 2 vertical lines to close off the sides. So there's my first building. You can overlap them, so if I wanted to add a second one behind this one, I would just add my vertical line there. I can make these as wide or as skinny as I want. Okay. So this building is behind this one in the front. That means we're going to see, actually that means that this line's not going to come all the way to the front. It's going to stop somewhere here, okay? Because this building is behind this one, they both can't touch the sidewalk, right? If this building's behind this one, it's further back. So we're going to bring our orthogonal line up a little bit here. It's not going to be where the sidewalk is. It's not going to be the edge of the sidewalk because it's behind. So this can be like a walkway or another sidewalk. It's the ground here. If you want to draw a building right next to one another, or 2 buildings that are right next to another, you just extend your orthogonal line and then draw a vertical line. So these 2 buildings are next to each other. If we want a space in between them, we just add another vertical line. Okay. Now we'll be able to see the left side of this one. I'm going to draw the short orthogonal there. Okay, we're also going to be able to see the floor here because it's an opening. So I'm going to draw another orthogonal there. So there's a space in between these 2. Okay, I can't walk in here. All right, let me add another one over here. So you always want to start with a vertical line. But remember, as you're going back into the vanishing point, your buildings are getting smaller and smaller. So this building here that I just started cannot be that tall. It has to be shorter than this one. They're getting shorter and shorter as we go back into space. Vertical and vertical. This one won't come all the way down. It's going to stop here because I need to draw another orthogonal line there. Okay, so all of this in here is my ground. Just going to keep adding some buildings. Okay, so you're going to keep adding. You want a minimum of 10. You want to add your windows. You want to add the doors to the buildings, garages, openings.